Hey there, joining us on Weather Out West. I'm meteorologist Ashley Ruiz, and here's what we're tracking for you this morning. Cleanup and recovery. That's the focus in parts of Arizona and Colorado after two different but equally severe weather events hit the regions, causing major damage. We'll take you there to see what was impacted and how the communities are rebounding. Plus, fall isn't finished yet, but winter has been continuing to knock early in Northern California. The impact the heavy snowfall is now having. And a California man just squashed the competition and set a new pumpkin record. Wait till you see the giant gourd that earned him the crown. You saw a little preview there. Good morning, and we thank you so much for joining us on today's Weather Out West. This is an hour-long show where we showcase what's happening weather-wise across the western United States. We begin this morning continuing to follow the flooding out of southern Colorado. Water levels are still high, but officials are working hard on a re-entry plan for those who had to evacuate. Right now, residents who urgently need to grab medications or have to check out their property will be escorted by the sheriff's office for a limited amount of time. Since Saturday, all 390 homes in La Plata County are still under evacuation orders. An estimated 90 to 100 homes have some kind of water damage, and 2 homes were completely lost. Those 2 homes, however, were not technically destroyed by the creek. The homeowners agreed to have their homes destroyed to prevent debris from causing damage to a critical bridge.
Knowing where I see those banks now, I fully believe that those homes would have been in the river had some action not been taken, but I just don't have all the details around it.
Depending on what is found in the damage assessment, emergency responders are planning to lift evacuation orders on Thursday at 8 a.m. And that's where we begin our forecast today in Denver, where relief might not be on the way just yet. Our meteorologists are tracking another round of strong storms.
Hello from Denver, Colorado, where we enjoyed, well, a day like a country music song. Sunshine and 75, like Joe Nichols sang. We had a beautiful day. In the past 24 hours, enough cloud cover to make for a pretty sunrise and sunset. Our viewers are always so great at sharing those colorful skies with us. And now we're getting ready for the next storm system, which is off to the west of us. A California low, which is bringing snow to the Sierras, rain to Los Angeles. The southwest flow ahead of it will be transporting more moisture into Colorado, into an area of our state that needs a break from the flooding rain. This fast-moving system will move from the southwest to the northeast and will bring Denver a few showers Wednesday night into Thursday and a bit of mountain snow around 10,000 feet. But all eyes on southwestern Colorado and, of course, areas that have received 3 to 7 inches of rain, like Pagosa Springs, areas around Paonia, Durango, Wolf Creek Pass. Flood watch and advisories will continue for that area as more moisture heads into an area that has seen saturated soils and historic flooding. We'll watch the southwest flow bring up a few showers into Telluride and Alamosa today. Denver stays dry for the most part, but late in the day into the evening, we get into the rain. Those showers move through, and then we'll get a secondary round that comes in on Thursday. And Thursday will be a cooler day for us as well. We'll start this morning in the low 50s, warm to the mid and upper 70s, more sunshine than cloud cover until late in the day. And then with the arrival of that western system, temperatures will come down for the second half of the week. 78 today with some evening showers, a 30% chance of showers on Thursday. Temperatures a little cooler than the average of 66 at 63 Thursday, 65 on Friday, mid 60s Saturday, and then 70s are in the forecast for Sunday and Monday. Our Broncos take the field at 2:05 on Sunday afternoon, and we're really hoping this weather pattern continues and that this ends up being a winning forecast.
I'm 9 News Weather Impact Team's Katie LaSalle. For mid-October, we have a not typical storm threat for the metro area and a big portion of the state. Let's chat about why. It's sunshine this morning, but more moisture in the atmosphere. Areas of dense fog this morning impacting northern Colorado. And you can see here later on today, we have a marginal threat. All areas shaded here in green, which is what we typically see in the summertime of a severe thunderstorm outbreak. What this means is we could be seeing some damaging winds, hail a main threat, and it's because we have more moisture, higher humidity, and more instability hanging here over the state. We're continuing to see some of that tropical moisture stream in. You combine that with the heat of the day, unseasonably warm temperatures. It brings us this unusual severe weather threat. All areas under that green marginal risk of seeing a few strong to even severe warned thunderstorms. Now, this is the latest threat we've seen of this nature since 2010. So it has been 15 years since we were talking this type of weather pattern here across the state. Forecasted highs today well above average. Typically, we see highs in the 60s in Denver this afternoon, 60s from Vail to Steamboat Springs. It'll feel a little more like summertime, upper 70s, low 80s in some neighborhoods across the metro area and plains. It'll be less about hail, it looks like, for the I-25 corridor, scattered showers and storms in the mountains, more of a wind threat for later on this afternoon and evening. So if you have those Halloween decorations out, the lawn furniture that you don't want to be blown away, we could be seeing wind gusts reach around 30 miles per hour possible when those cells form, upwards of 50 mile per hour wind gusts, mainly east of the Denver area. As you can see, as we take you through our extended forecast, an area of low pressure will roll in later on tonight. It'll drop our temperatures, bring in a little more mountain moisture, and that severe weather threat is set to dissipate as we get into later on this evening, but scattered showers will be possible. In terms of our weather pattern, you can see we'll get down to some more seasonal conditions Friday and Saturday, still unseasonably mild Sunday and Monday. We are still waiting to get to the freezing level here for the metro area, but I want to take a look at our 6 to 10 day outlook. We're leaning a little bit chillier heading into the next 10 days, and we'll keep you posted on if and when we finally see some frosty conditions here across the plains coming up.
And in Arizona, cleanup is also underway after a powerful microburst blew through Tempe Monday, causing significant damage to homes and businesses. Crews have been out assessing the full scope and cost of the damage. The Tempe Fire Medical Rescue Department responded to over 180 incidents after the storm. That's up 50% from their normal day-to-day responses. And one woman living in the Maple Ash neighborhood says she hired a contractor to help her remove several trees in her yard, but it will be several days before someone can come out to her property because of the increased demand.
I can't believe, this has happened. And of course, what I was worried about was the damage to the house. We haven't yet had that assessed, so I don't know exactly how badly it's damaged.
The city says bulk trash pickup is key to cleanup, but first, the priority is making sure everyone is okay following the storm.
Check on your neighbors. Make sure that we are looking and identifying any lines down, power issues, tree damage. This is a long process. We've gone from response to now we're in the recovery phase.
And anyone with questions about debris removal is asked to call 311, and anyone displaced with shelter needs is directed to the Escalante Multi-Generational Center for help. And thankfully, the weather is starting to quiet on down in Arizona. In fact, Phoenix will experience its coolest temperatures since May. Yes, you've heard that correctly. Ginger Jeffries tells us how long the chill will stick around for.
I'm meteorologist Ginger Jeffries with a look at your weather out west, where, folks, we have been reeling with tropical moisture. Couple rounds of record rainfall over the weekend. We got a total of 5 days of rainfall. And then, of course, we capped things off with a microburst, over 70-mile-an-hour winds blasting through the town of Tempe. And now, boy, oh boy, have we changed. After some cold wind yesterday, our forecast highs are lower than temperatures we haven't seen in many months. Take a look. These are not current temperatures. These are our forecast highs. Now, October, well, it's kind of one of those months where anything goes. Last year, we were still dealing with triple digits. We hit highs at 105 in October. Instead, I've got numbers like 77 today in Queen Creek, 78 in Glendale, 79 in Scottsdale, and 76 for our 78, our official high in Phoenix. So mostly clear and mild. We still have a couple thin clouds here and there. How rare is this 77? Well, again, normal for us is 90 degrees. So anything within 5 degrees of that. So 85 to even 95 would be considered normal. Records for us stand in the low 100s. The last time we saw 77 degrees, the last time we saw temperatures even below 80 degrees happened on May 6th. So that just kind of tells you, it puts a framework of how extraordinary this weather is for us. Yesterday, we were at about 85 degrees, and our overnights, well, those are definitely going to be coming down, and it's all courtesy of this cold blast. We dealt with some stronger winds yesterday, primarily in the higher elevations. We had that high wind advisory today. We're still seeing some stronger winds, but it just doesn't meet that advisory status. So this is a cool wind, and it's going to keep us on the cool side as we drop down to about 61 degrees. But notice what happens next 3 days. Okay, if normal for us is 90 and we're going to be below that, we are going to start warming. We've got a couple rounds in the 70s, but then we're going to kick it up a notch or two on Friday at 81. Still, for us desert dwellers, we are not complaining. But you know what I want to do is take an even further outlook. 6 to 10 day outlook shows we are going to be staying below the normal range, and we are already the third wettest October on record. Could we add some rainfall to it? We've got a slight chance. It doesn't really look like we've got much moisture coming our direction, but there is a slight chance that we could get some more rainfall in about the next 7 to 10 days. So what's going on? All right, we've got this area of low pressure, this guy bringing in some snow to the Sierras, and as it's brushing the state, and the reason our temperatures are coming down is this low is sagging a little bit, so it's just going to kick up some wind, bring in some cooler air, and as you can see, it's getting close enough because the jet is low enough. It may bring a sprinkle or two to really just the northern tier of the state. I'm talking areas right around the Grand Canyon, and if we get any rainfall, it's going to be fairly minimal at best. As you can see, rain today possibly dropping down into Sedona, but when you take a look at this legend here, we're talking about under a ½ inch. So just a smattering, let's call it, of rain. In fact, as we look over the next 5 days, high country really doesn't look like much activity until the early part of next week, and possibly even the White Mountains. So the rim through the White Mountains, possibly into Sedona, and then the northwest corner of the state may see a sprinkle or two, not a big wind event at all. Instead, or rain event. Instead, we've got more wind than rain today. And then I think it's those overnights and those daytime highs that everybody's going to be talking about. I mean, look at this. Sub-freezing air in place, getting those numbers down into the upper 20s through Friday overnight. For you and me, yeah, we're going to stay on the mild side at least through the weekend. And then, yeah, we're getting a little closer to normal as we approach Sunday.
Next up on Weather Out West, we're going to take you to the Pacific Northwest, talking about some really nice fall weather, but then some more rain. Surprise, surprise. Welcome back to Weather Out West. I'm Ashley Ruiz, and we thank you so much for joining us on this Wednesday. The Toronto Blue Jays are in Seattle to take on the Mariners for games 3 and 4 of the ALCS. Seattle's Rich Marriott tells us how the weather will be and what lies ahead for the weekend.
Hi, I'm King 5 meteorologist Rich Marriott, and another big day in Seattle, another playoff game headed our way, and a beautiful start to the day, which I'll take as a good omen. Gorgeous looking out there from our Bellingham Tower cam this morning. Again, blue sky and blue water out there. We had clear skies and just a beautiful sunrise around Puget Sound this morning, and we get into this time of the year, and oftentimes it's just blackness turning into dark gray, so we have to appreciate it whenever we have a spectacular sunrise in October. But with that, though, we did see some very chilly temperatures once again around the area, but starting to warm up already with a little bit of sunshine. Even out along the coastal beaches, we've got some sunshine this morning and off to a really good start. Checking those temperatures, though, when you get away from the cities, it was cold for Puget Sound, for Western Washington. Temperatures down in the upper 20s and low 30s down in the South Sound, and also some of the outlying areas up to the north. Even within the cities themselves, it got chilly this morning with those temperatures dropping down into the upper 30s and low 40s in a lot of them. So definitely a cool air mass sitting over us, and we are going to see a little bit of cloudiness move in later today, which should end up with a little bit warmer temperatures as we head into tomorrow. So checking that first alert 7-day forecast, you can see lots of sunshine. Now we're getting past that chilly morning, and a few showers start to work their way into the forecast beginning later tomorrow into Friday. Not much in that first system that moves in, but then as we do head into the weekend, it is going to be turning wet over the weekend and the first half of next week, and we'll see those snow levels lowering as we head into Sunday. So definitely working our way into the second half of October. Looking at that satellite image, what we're really looking at is just this high pressure sitting over us right now. That is going to start drifting eastward as we head towards Thursday and Friday. We've got a little weak system that's going to drag through here with the high clouds this afternoon, and then another system will be moving in as we head towards later tomorrow night on into early on Friday. Not a whole lot in that. It's going to weaken as it moves into the high pressure, but then that moves on out of here, and we're going to see a pretty strong cold front moving here as we head towards Saturday afternoon. It's going to turn into a wet afternoon and evening on Saturday, and then a lot of showers around on Sunday, with those snow levels probably dropping down to about 4,000 feet by later on Sunday. So you might actually see a little bit of snow sticking on the road for Stevens Pass and especially North Cascades Highway, and then probably Chinook Pass as well. Both the North Cascades Highway and Chinook Passes are both above 5,000 feet, so they can accumulate snow much more easily than the lower passes. No impact on Snoqualmie Pass, though, I-90 across the Cascades. Looking at our computer model, you can see just those high clouds kind of moving through today. It's going to filter the sun just a little bit, and then we'll clear a little bit before that system moves in as we head into tomorrow. We'll see a chance of a few showers, especially as we head towards late tomorrow evening, probably staying north of Seattle, so not really affecting the playoff game potentially. And then we should see still a few showers around on Friday should a Game 5 be necessary. Again, might have a few scattered showers around the area. Take a look at that actual forecast for this evening. Well, we're going to be looking for game time, probably partly sunny, temperatures right around the upper 50s and low 60s, but during the game, cooling back to the low to mid 50s. So a little chilly by the end of the game. Might need a sweatshirt, probably not for the game because there'll be a lot of motion probably keeping you warm, but making it back to your car, you probably need that sweatshirt to do a hike from T-Mobile Park. And checking tomorrow, we're going to be looking for partly sunny at that first pitch at 5:33. We're going to be looking for partly sunny skies. Chance of a few showers later in the evening, so the roof might end up being closed during the game. And then on Friday, that slight chance of a shower, but again, it may stay away from T-Mobile. For all three games, basically temperatures in the mid to upper 50s during the game, which has worked out pretty well for the Mariners so far. Taking a look, beautiful shot there at up in Paradise, looking up at Mount Rainier. The snow they got over the weekend is mostly melted off now, and similarly there over the passes. And good hiking weather if you want to get up and do a little late season hiking right now. Temperatures this afternoon with sunshine getting into the upper 40s and low to mid 50s, so in pretty good shape. So going over that 7-day forecast again, mostly sunny this afternoon, high temperatures upper 50s and low 60s, just some high clouds drifting through. Tomorrow partly sunny, that chance of showers moving in later in the evening, mid to upper 50s. Just a slight chance of a shower Friday mixed with sunshine, again mid to upper 50s. Saturday increasing rain as we head into the afternoon, a wet Saturday night into Sunday. It'll turn to shower Sunday afternoon, those snow levels dropping down to about 4,000 feet later in the day on Sunday. Monday we're going to be looking for partly sunny with a few showers. Snow levels back up to about 5,000, 5,500 feet on Monday, and then increasing rain again as we head towards Tuesday with those high temperatures mostly in the mid 50s.
And down in Portland, Oregon, it's going to be a picture-perfect autumn day. Enjoy it because rain returns over the weekend as well. Rod Hill has all of those details.
Announcing the coldest morning of the fall season so far here in the Rose City. Good morning, I'm Rod Hill. It's sunny, it's beautiful. What a day. We've still had some east winds coming out of the gorge this morning, and that's noteworthy because remember, when the wind blows, the temperature doesn't settle. So a temperature that wants to be like 35, if the wind's blowing, can actually get held up to like 50 degrees. And that has been the case this morning. These are the reported lows. Now the official lows may be, adjusted down a degree or so, but for right now, 50 was the number in Troutdale with east winds. They weren't overly strong, 10, 15 miles per hour. The winds were calm by the time you got to Portland's airport, PDX, also along the Columbia. And at 39, the first time that we have dipped below 40 degrees so far this fall season, records for this time of the year are generally now 31, 32 degrees. Otherwise, we generally held above freezing 35 in McMinnville. And as you look at some other temperatures, we did have freezing numbers up in Kelso, Longview, up I-5 there at 32, and also out in the Hood River Valley and Hood River itself at 32. Our live camera down in Salem spotted some frost on the grass in front of our Capitol. So we know we've had at least a scattered light frost area out there this morning. So that's been our big talk, was that situation. Otherwise, just a beautiful day. These clouds, which look impressive, we'll start to get into these tomorrow, and it's with a weakening system that just clips our area. We may or may not see literally a trace of rain or literally just a sprinkle from those clouds Thursday overnight into, say, early Friday morning. And that's it. Otherwise, our forecast is basically dry until rain comes in Saturday nights. We've got a few dry days coming. Today is all about the sunny blue, and it's the last day as a forecaster on paper that we see for a week or so of just the sunny blue skies that will be with us all day, all areas. So enjoy it. Here's our coast, Chinook Winds Casino Resort, and of course the blue Pacific waters. Temperatures were in the 30s there this morning, and we're still being treated to the return of the White Mountains from the snow that fell Sunday into Monday morning and the blue sky. Timberline was actually in the upper 30s this morning, about the same as we've been down here in the lowlands of the Willamette Valley. There's the Columbia River, and there's Mount Hood from a distance from our springs at the waterfront. By the way, if you come into Portland and Vancouver and you are looking for a place to eat, or you've never experienced our new waterfront along the Columbia, there's a lot of restaurants there, and it's really, really quite lovely. Here's our state capitol, and if you look carefully, still some scattered white spots left, but earlier this morning, before the sun really got going, that was pretty much covered in white, the grass with frost in front of our state capitol and the pretty fall foliage. Downtown Portland has been warmer than that with just the clear blue skies. All right, Futurecast, what's going to happen? Well, not much today, just sunny skies. This does pick up in light gray, you have to look carefully. The chance of some fog in the valley tomorrow morning. These are the clouds that we saw a moment ago on the satellite picture increasing during the day tomorrow. And then the green specks represent a sprinkle or a chance of some traceable amounts of moisture overnight Thursday into early Friday morning. Now during the day Friday, this is noon, here's the afternoon, expecting some sunshine to come in and replace the clouds. I mentioned that we're basically dry until Saturday night into Sunday. That system into Monday showers could drop an inch of rain along our north coast and promises that maybe drop about a half of an inch of rain from Portland down into Corvallis. So that's the next weather system that we are tracking. All right, back to today. The coast up to about 60 degrees. Out in the gorge, east winds on the way out. Light west winds coming with sunny skies and low to mid 60s. Looks like about 65 degrees in our capital city of Salem. And temperatures similar up and down I-5. 50s east of the Cascades. Here's Portland's 7-day. Mainly it shows that rain coming in Saturday night into Sunday.
Pumpkin picking is a very fun fall activity, I would say, but pumpkin growing is a very competitive one. After the break, meet the man who just won the 52nd World Championship Pumpkin Weigh-Off in Half Moon Bay. Just in time for Halloween, there's a new gourd growing champion. Yes, a California engineer just claimed the title for his massive prize-winning pumpkin.
2, 3, 4, 6.
Check out the new Pound for Pound Pumpkin King. Brandon Dawson of Santa Rosa, California, and his prize-winning gourd clocked in at 2,346 pounds, squashing the competition to claim victory at the Safeway World Championship Pumpkin Weigh-Off. The annual contest has growers from near and far see who can harvest the heaviest pumpkin, and this year's win may be especially sweet. In 2024, Dawson had the second-place pumpkin, losing by a mere 6 pounds to winner Travis Ginger. This year, Dawson easily cleared the rest of his competitors, taking the title by more than 300 pounds, earning that sweet Pumpkin King ring. Plus, he gets more than $21,000 in prize money, or $9 per pound, but who's counting? He's sharing the sweet, sweet victory with his family, and that is the real win.
That's a big guy, my goodness. Okay, so we have so much more to cover on today's weather out west. And next up on our tour, we're going to take you to California with forecasts from our meteorologist in San Diego and Sacramento. Thank you so much for sticking with us here on Weather Out West. Here's what we have for you this back half hour. So the heavy snowfall we told you about yesterday that hit Northern California is now leading to slow traffic in the Sierra Nevada range. And so chains are now required for portions of Interstate 80 and Highway 50. This has caused some drivers to stop and buy change for their tires before they can continue on their travels.
We were trying to beat it, but we got held up in Sacramento, but it's fine.
Just drive slowly and, watch out for the truck drivers.
Caltrans also has crews stationed along the interstate warning drivers of the icy conditions. And that storm system that brought rain, snow, and thunderstorms to portions of northern central California will begin to pull away from the region, but cool temperatures will linger. Sacramento's Monica Woods has those details in today's forecast.
I'm meteorologist Monica Woods, and we are tracking the remnants of our first significant fall storm. So looking at our regional headlines for the coast, staying cool, clearing in the valley, showers ending in the foothills, and for the Sierra, snow ending as well. As far as the storm highlights, this was our solid first cold fall storm. It put a big dent in fire conditions. It doesn't totally erase things because, as we know, a quick wind event, a north wind event, offshore wind event can quickly dry out that fuel once again. Valley rain totals over an inch. First widespread Sierra snow, so winter driving is here. Get the chains ready because this is what we're going to have from here on out through the winter season. This is up at Mammoth Mountain, where they picked up some decent amount of snow, especially south of Highway 50 in the central Sierra. That's really where the brunt of this storm pulled through, so it was difficult driving up in the high country, but you can see they were trying to do their best to clear things out and let everybody get up there in the mountains to enjoy what is a beautiful scene up there. I really love this picture too because you can see some of the gorgeous fall color kind of highlighted with that fall snow that we're seeing. So it is here. We've turned the seasons into a much colder weather pattern, and this really sticks around. We get a little break from the cold pulse of air for the middle and end of the work week, but then heading into the weekend, we get another blast of this coming through. Slight chance of some weekend tail end showers brushing northern California, but overall, we're just looking at a cooler weather pattern. As this first system starts to exit off to the east, we'll see some remnant showers early in the day on Wednesday, and then it quickly clears. We'll pick up just a hint of those north winds, nothing too significant as it stands right now to really elevate that fire risk. But again, we are going to stay on the cooler side in the wake of this first fall cold storm system. Our highs are in the 40s for the Sierra for our Wednesday, 50s and near 60 for the foothills. A nice little rebound from those cold conditions on Wednesday. South of Highway 50, highs are going to warm into the 40s for much of the central Sierra. Once we head into the valley, we're still sitting in the 60s. Now, keep in mind, this is still a solid about 15 to 20 degrees below average. For the central coast, we're looking at clearing skies, but unseasonably cool conditions. We're in the lower 60s. Inland areas throughout the San Joaquin Valley, only in the mid 60s. We should be in the low 80s this time of year. Still kind of sitting in the transition zone between summer and winter. Our Bay Area forecast, highs are in the 60s for our Wednesday. Inland areas again in the 60s. So it's a very uniform temperature pattern, and we're not really seeing much of a swing from morning lows to afternoon highs. Again, this is the time that we kind of calibrate things and bring in those morning lows and afternoon highs a little closer together. During the summer, we can see a swing of about 30 degrees from morning lows to afternoon highs. Near 60 along the northwest coast to inland areas throughout the north end of the valley, right around 60. And as we head into the capital region, highs are going to be in the 60s again, pretty much about 15 to almost 20 degrees below average. So a cold fall storm certainly making us stand up and take notice that we are into that season where we have some unsettled weather. Highs are going to warm back into the 50s and 60s by the time we head into the weekend for the mountains. For the foothills, after a brief morning shower, things are clearing and warming. We are back in the 70s by Friday into the upcoming weekend. Gorgeous to head up the hill and see some of that fall color, as well as enjoy Apple Hill as well. And for the coast, again, clearing skies. Our highs are going to rebound back into the 70s. A little pulse of that cool air moving back in on Sunday. And during the evening is when we have a chance of some of those showers making a return. But you can see with our extended forecast how quickly we clear out, warming up a bit by the time we get to the weekend with highs in the 70s. No significant warm up, though, in our 10-day forecast.
Well, Northern California had snow in its forecast. It was all rain for Southern California yesterday. In fact, an atmospheric river moved across the region, bringing a significant amount of rain and triggering a flash flood watch for much of the region. The Pacific Palisades area was under evacuation an evacuation warning because of the risk for mud and debris flows from burn scars. Many roads were soaked, and LA County saw around an average of 2 inches of rain. And after a rainy and windy Tuesday, the weather is settling down in California. San Diego's Evan Noorani is here with today's forecast.
Hi everyone, I'm Evan Nurani in San Diego. We are watching for the wrap-up, the final remnants of this storm that came down across the West Coast and brought plenty of rain, wind, and even some thunderstorms. There were reports of waterspouts off of the coast yesterday around the Orange County area. And now as we head through our Wednesday, we are starting to see those clouds and showers come to a halt. The view outside over the last couple hours throughout the morning has been gorgeous. This is what we've been seeing out there. A mix of sun and clouds. Some showers popping up on the lens of the camera there, but otherwise shaping up very nicely, moving in the direction of sunshine. That sunrise was at 6:53. It was socked in for a bit, and now we're starting to see more and more of the sun peek through. It was breezy out there, and that was the first thing we noticed yesterday, was that wind started up, and then after the wind, the rain came. So as far as your peak wind gusts go, we got upwards of 30, 40, and even 50 miles per hour up at Cuyamaca Peak. Mount Laguna, 45 miles per hour, and downtown San Diego, even the metro area, coming in at about 45 miles per hour. So palm fronds on the ground, Halloween decorations scattered around the neighborhood. Just be prepared for those winds to slowly die down. We are no longer under the wind advisory that we saw yesterday. As far as your rainfall totals go, they were impressive. They were much needed. Our water year began October 1st. That was the restart date. And last year's water year was not so fruitful to us. We saw barely 60% of what we would typically see in a normal water year. So getting these totals early on, very beneficial. This early season storm has been helpful. 41/100ths of an inch, almost a full half inch in Fallbrook, Oceanside, Vista, over half an inch in Valley Center at about 6/10, and over a full inch at Palomar Mountain, Lake Cuyamaca, Julian. I mean, we saw nearly 2 inches at Palomar Mountain and Lake Cuyamaca. Let's take a look at the next 12 hours because a lot of people are wondering if the storm is completely gone. The answer is, I'd say it's about 95% gone. There are still a few scattered showers all the way through about noon today that we could watch for. And then temperatures are going to be warming up to the upper 60s and low 70s as the afternoon comes about. We won't see as many low 70s in the forecast today, but El Cajon looks to get there, and those partly cloudy skies will at least help to make us feel a little bit warmer, help to dry out the puddles that we have all over the ground. So remember that as you head out for the morning commute, that you might still run into some of the wet roads and the puddles throughout the day. 7-day forecast shows that ridge of high pressure is going to help to give us some warmer temperatures into the days ahead. You got up to 74 degrees as that high on Saturday and Sunday. So some warming expected. As we get into the beginning of next week, those temperatures start to slide once again. We're back to the low 70s, mid 80s expected inland. We get all the way to 85 degrees by Saturday afternoon, cooling down to 75 by Tuesday of next week. So the thing is, while this next low pressure system will kind of damper any expectations of a warmer trend of weather, well, it doesn't look to be all that wet. It doesn't come along with a ton of moisture because day over day, we're still just looking at some passing clouds, and temperatures, while they will likely be in the above average range by Saturday, will cool back down to below average by Sunday and beyond. For the mountains and deserts, it's pretty similar out there. More than 20 degrees of change, 57 this afternoon, all the way up to 77 by Sunday. So some nice warming on hand, getting back to the low 90s across our deserts. All in all, this storm that came through is likely just a preview of what we're expecting over the next several months. We will hopefully be getting what we are hoping for in terms of rain totals, what average looks like, getting us back the momentum that we need. In the meantime, CBS8.com/weather has much more, but a sunny week ahead.
Still to come, we're taking you back to the Northwest with forecasts from Boise and Spokane. Welcome back to Weather Out West. So after some rain and mountain snow, the weather turns drier and brighter. Boise's Hector Mendoza has those details.
Well, we had some rain that came through early on in through the morning and in through the late afternoon there in some spots, as we saw there. Boise got the brunt of that moisture that came in. Other spots not really stacking up much as we look at Mountain Home and through the Magic Valley. 39/100ths of an inch is what we saw out in Stanley, and some of that was even just a light dusting of snow that we got in through yesterday. But as we look at some of the totals here in Boise so far for the month of October, we've gotten about a little over an inch there, getting closer to about an 1.5 inches of rain here as we continue on for the rest of the month. Our monthly total is around 81/100 of an inch, and we surpassed that in the first 3 days of October. So we've been well past that monthly average, and we're looking to add on just a little bit more in through today. But even with that rain very early on, we had some pockets of sunshine here through yesterday and a beautiful, beautiful autumn day yesterday. This is looking out along the Boise River, and we posted this. This was posted on our Idaho Weather Watchers Facebook page. Nina posted this, so thank you so much for that beautiful photo that we got. Yesterday, temperatures were pretty cool as we look at Boise, Nampa, and Mountain Home that got into the upper 50s, 60s there for Caldwell in Ontario, and then we stayed into those low 50s for the Magic Valley, mid 50s, so warmer out in Haley than in the Magic Valley, and then we saw those cooler temperatures there into the upper 40s in Stanley. But as we look on ahead here through the rest of the day and in through tomorrow, we're going to see this system continuing to bring us some of those unsettled conditions here as we look on ahead here through southwest Idaho. As this system continues to make its trek on in through the east, then we're going to start to see a little bit less of that. Showery conditions will come along here for the afternoon, and we're expecting to see clear conditions here through the afternoon and evening for Boise and places in the Treasure Valley. And then that rain will be all said and done with as we head on in through tomorrow, as we expect drier and we expect a little bit more of that sunshine. But most of those showers have been confined to the Central Mountains, through places in through the Magic Valley and through eastern Idaho. So we've seen a sort of line there for Boise all the way out through Stanley, and then east of that line is where we've seen a lot more of that precipitation, at least for today. So as we fast forward here through this future cast, most of that, again, that line right here is where we're seeing a little bit more of that as we start to see some of that trickle in through portions of the west central mountains. But for the most part, McCall not expecting to see any of that rain. And then by the time we get towards tonight, we're going to see that as that system moves on into the east, we'll see most of those showers start to diminish there from west to east, and we're expecting a little bit more of those drier conditions. And then by Thursday, some clouds will start to linger there through the early portion of the morning, but then by the afternoon, lots of sunshine for the Treasure Valley, the Magic Valley, and even portions up into the mountains. And as we look on ahead here through our Thursday, we do see that with some of the showers here for today, a light dusting of snow in some of those higher elevation spots here through today. Most of that rain looks to stay there east and south of Boise there, as we're going to get about 34/100 of an inch there expected through Mountain Home. So starting to get a little closer to about a half an inch there. Some of those totals start to diminish as we get closer to the Magic Valley through the rest of this afternoon. And as we look on ahead here through the 7-day forecast here in Boise, after the showers that we're expecting here through this morning and through the afternoon, we are going to start to see a little bit more of that sunshine come along. And with that sunshine, we are going to see a ridge of high pressure that will also bring up those temperatures as we get on into Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. And Saturday, perfect fall weather as we do have UNLV making its way here to the Boise area. So we're going to have beautiful temperatures out on the blue, with temperatures climbing up to more seasonal territory. Then we get on into Sunday and we expect another system to come in, and we expect some scattered showers possible there through the afternoon. We'll see another dip in temperatures as we'll see them back into the mid 50s in terms of those high temperatures. Winds could also pick up, and morning conditions will also get down into the mid 30s as we head on into Tuesday.
Now let's take you to Spokane, Washington, where they continue to see frosty mornings but seasonal nice afternoons. But the rain returns later in the weekend. Thomas Patrick has those details.
I'm meteorologist Thomas Patrick in Spokane, Washington. More sunshine today, and it's been nice in the afternoons, but quite cold first thing in the morning. The big advantage, if you want to look at the positive side of things, is that when we finally get cold nights, our fall colors really start to pop. So I start looking at Silverwood Theme Park in Athol, Idaho, and I'm just loving the fall colors, which are at their absolute peak right now in North Idaho. Give it 1 or 2 more days and we'll be there in Spokane, Washington as well. Stay frosty inland Northwest with temperatures really close to 32 degrees as it has been the last several mornings in a row. And that forecast holds true the next couple days too. It at least stays sunny through Friday. That sunshine does feel great. And honestly, when you look at a high temperature forecast, remember that is measured in the shade. The sunshine will boost that up by a little bit more. Here we are in terms of fall colors, just 1 level away from peak in Spokane. But where you see the bright red shades on the map, that is the peak fall colors all throughout northern Washington and most of North Idaho. It is looking beautiful, as you saw there. It takes long nights and cold nights to really accelerate that fall foliage. A few of those trees were just hanging on to their green until the last second. Funny enough, it's actually one of our trees that's outside our own KREM 2 studios is like the last tree that I saw finally start to change color. So we're going to be there this week. It just takes overnight lows that are really close to freezing. We'll be at 34 tomorrow morning. Coeur d'Alene will be at 32 degrees exactly. Unfortunately, because of the drought from this past summer, one of the lingering effects of that is that the fall colors are a bit dulled this year. I am noticing a ton more brown as opposed to goldenrod or orange. Sure, there are still a handful of some very bright and vibrant trees, but when the drought is extreme, it does actually affect the fall foliage and that maximum color. So you are going to probably notice some dulled colors because that drought does stress out the trees specifically. So you'll notice a lot more brown, unfortunately, compared to those super bright yellows, oranges, and reds. As for the weather, it is all quiet across the Pacific Northwest, hardly a cloud in the sky. The only thing is that there was a little bit of fog that developed over Lake Coeur d'Alene, just trying to draw from moisture anywhere in the inland Northwest. But aside from that teeny tiny weather impact, things are looking great for the afternoon. So in eastern Washington, a lot of upper 50s, about mid 50s for North Idaho. The Palouse will end up a little bit cooler, 53 in Pullman and Moscow, located just 7 miles away from each other. So I'm going to take you to the big map here because it's all going to be quiet for the region. A small system on Friday will give the mountains some showers for the Cascades, and then actually for western Montana, kind of leapfrogged over Spokane. So I didn't add any rain chances here for the week. Instead, I'm waiting until this guy makes it in. So this is Saturday, big storm, big trough over the Pacific Ocean. When that wave arrives on Sunday, that's when we'll get our by far best rain chances. Rain looking very likely for now the second straight Sunday here. The difference between last Sunday and this one is that it's actually going to be a bit more mild outside. Last Sunday was that big seasonal shift day. It was 45 degrees and raining. It had snowed in the mountains for the first time. This time around, it's a bit closer to 60 degrees and snow levels are going to be much higher in terms of elevation as well. So yes, a second straight rainy Sunday, just not as cold this time around. Temperatures are very close to average for the rest of this week, in the upper 50s in Spokane and close to 60 on Saturday.
Can a hairy caterpillar predict how much snow we will get in the winter? Well, when we come back, learn about the superstition of the woolly caterpillar. So here's something a little fun. We've all heard of the groundhog's prediction, right? I mean, it has its own holiday and a movie. Well, what about when a beaver is carrying sticks in its mouth, and this is a little superstition? Well, you better go south because it's going to be a hard winter. Well, in Louisiana, I'm from Louisiana, and instead of groundhogs, we would have nutrias instead of looking to see if the groundhog is going to predict whether spring's going to come early or winter continues. Well, this is a fun little superstition as well. It's a very hairy caterpillar, and it helps make a prediction about the winter. So the banded woolly bear caterpillar is found throughout the United States, Mexico, and southern Canada. They have 13 segments with hairy little bristles. They're black on the ends and reddish brown in the middle. You see that little guy there? Oh my gosh, he's so cute. According to legend, wider banding means a milder winter, and more black segments means a more severe winter.
So whenever you're talking about seeing an all black or an all brown or even a white woolly bear, it's actually different species. So when you're like, I saw an all black one, that means we're going to have a horrible winter. Different species, not even the one that the myth is about.
The caterpillars eventually create cocoons in the spring and emerge as Isabella tiger moths. And just like the groundhog seeing its shadow and retreating back to its den, science does not back up the myth. Of course, we know that an animal can't predict the forecast and how it's going to be. That's why you lean to us, right? If you have any superstitions, maybe in your local town, go ahead, let us know. You can reach out to me, email me at aruiz@king5.com. And I would love to share them with everyone on here as well. We thank you so much for joining us here on Weather Out West on this Wednesday. I'm meteorologist Ashley Ruiz, and we hope to see you again tomorrow, and we'll have some coverage about some earthquake preparedness.